good morning, everyone. It's very nice seeing some familiar faces. I think I see most of my lecturers here, and it's also nice seeing the new, fresh intakes of our program. Now, my slot is entitled Making the Most Out of It, and I specifically chose this phrase because I think it reflects our journey as a student. Next slide, please. All right, so these are the agenda for my session. I'm going to start off with a bit of self-introduction later on, and then I'll talk about developing habits that I think are important for you as a student, and also how to find yourself, when you are entering a new phase of your life, and how to find yourself, find your strengths and weaknesses. And then lastly, I'll open the floor for questions and answers. Next slide. All right. So I know that MC has already introduced me, but I'd like to tell a bit more of myself, because I think it's worth sharing. Hopefully that you'll get inspired at the very least. So my name is Siti Nurainin binti Azman, but you can call me Ainin Azman. I think people in the faculty and in the campus call me that. I am currently doing my master's degree in ESL, and I have my supervisor here, Dr. Adelina. And I'm also working as a public speaking trainer under the Malaysian Institute of Debate and Public Speaking. And I am currently entrusted with the role of president of the Kulsum Movement, which is an NGO that I will explain later on. And I think I have been blessed with several notable awards. Currently, I think recently, early September, I was awarded the Pingat Tunku Award by Yayasan Tunku Abdul Rahman. And last year, I was awarded with the Royal Education Award. And I was also, alhamdulillah, awarded the best speaker in ASEAN Educational Forum back in 2018. That was in Jakarta. So if you see in the pictures here, these are some of the activities that I participated in. In the biggest picture, that was when I became the first chairwoman for presidential secretariat, where I oversaw 12 colleges under me. And then on the right, that was when I represented Malaysia for the Education Forum in Jakarta. It was so much fun. I managed to highlight about education inequality in Malaysia. And then at the bottom of that was when I got invited by the Ministry of Women to be one of the panelists for Forum on Women's Sexual Abuse. So I got to speak alongside Dr. Wan Aziza. It was so eye-opening, and I really appreciate that experience up until now. And then next to it, that was when I participate in Education Forum once again, but that was in Chiang Mai, Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. And lastly, the bottom left picture, that was when I became the director for my college annual dinner. And that was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So as you can see, I participated in a lot of stuff. I cannot sit still, and there are a lot of things that I want to venture in. That's why I managed to, I think, get these awards. Because aside from doing well academically, you have to make sure that you stand out as an undergraduate, to make sure that people see you, people know that you can contribute to the society. All right, next. Okay, so when I got invited as the speaker for today's session, I was requested to talk a bit on my study tips and what I did to achieve all those things, right? And I think the things that I'm going to share are pretty common for any student actually. So the first one is, as a student, you have to make sure that you have a set of clear and achievable goals. And the keywords here are clear and achievable, because you have to make sure that you can visualize your goals and you know your way to achieve them. And it also has to be achievable, because if you put goals that are not realistic, then it will have an effect on your motivation level as a student. That's why it's very important for you to set clear and achievable goals as a student. And some of the applications that I use to keep track of my goals and habits are Strides, Way of Life, and a Tracker. So these are some of the applications that I highly suggest undergraduates and anyone actually to look into, because it really helps you keep track of the things that you do on daily basis, so you can see your productivity level each day. And then the next one is journaling. I think I started to do journaling ever since I entered secondary school. So what I did was I would write what I did for that day and how I could have prevented certain instances from happening, and what do I wish to do more on the next day. And why I think journaling is very important, because firstly, of course, it helps with your writing skills. Secondly, it makes you think about the things that you could have done better. So you know the things that you should take control more, for example, your emotions and whatnot. So journaling is very, very helpful, because I think it boosts your memory. For me, it boosts my memory because I get to recall my day before I end the day. So it's very, it's highly, I highly suggest journaling for all of you to practice. And then for myself, I prefer journaling in the manual way, where I write physically in a notebook. But of course, now there are a lot of applications that you can use to journal as well. So some of them are Diarium and Day One. And these applications are free. You can just install it in your phones or laptops, and you can start writing before you end your day. That's what I did lah. Okay, next up is time management. When it comes to time management, I don't think I'm the person to talk much about it, because I do notice that sometimes my time management is not so good. But again, this is something that I would want to share with you, because how you manage your time have a direct effect on your stress level as a student. So you have to understand that once you enter the university life, the workload, the experience is totally different. You are dealing with a lot of different things, and it's easy for you to feel suffocated if you cannot manage your time wisely. So that's why as a student, it's very important for you to have a strong time management skills, and that includes not procrastinating. So what I learned back then was that I used to procrastinate, not too much, but I procrastinated back then. However, I realized that it has taken a toll on my health and also on my work quality. It's not something that I'm proud of. So I would really, really tell you to manage your time wisely and not to procrastinate, because procrastination is something that can, affect your quality of work. If you tend to do things at the very last minute, then your end product will not be as good as if you have prepared it or worked on it for quite some time. So please manage your time wisely, and I hope you don't learn it the hard way like I did back then. And some of the apps that I have used to manage my time as a student is Microsoft To Do. This is completely free if you sign up using the Microsoft email that you should have already gotten by then. And then the other applications are Trello, Timetree, and Todoist. So these suggested apps, they go hand in hand with the apps that I have suggested in the goals applications. So some of these apps can be used also to track your goals. For example, Microsoft To Do is very convenient, user-friendly as well. So you install the application and then you list down your tasks or assignments, and you can track your progress or productivity level throughout. And then the last one is to explore the opportunities. I think our Deputy Dean and Dean mentioned about exploring the opportunities that UM has to offer, and I don't deny that UM definitely has a lot to offer to you as students. You just have to find these opportunities and be brave enough to try on and participate in everything, because these kind of programs, for example, exchange programs, educational conferences, they not only shape you, shape your thinking skill, it also shapes your social skills as well. So that's why as a student, especially when you are at your age, you're very young, you have a lot of time and energy, you should be channeling all this energy and time by participating in a lot of programs, events. So some of the things that I participated during my years as an undergraduate was that I became a dancer. I never danced before, but I tried dancing because I thought, why not? It's free coaching, and the coach was someone who is very established dancer. So I tried on dancing, and I also played a bit of sports. I played handball back then, and then I participated in the campus election as well. So you will see that by joining these kind of events, it helps you to form connections. That's the most important thing for me, and I think you should see it that way as well. Forming connections is very important because it helps you to go somewhere, you know, it brings you out of your comfort zone. And then it also tells you about your strengths and weaknesses, the things that you are good at. For example, by participating in conferences, I know that I can speak quite well. So that is something that I should work on in the future to be even better. So by joining in these sorts of programs, it helps you to determine or identify your strengths and weaknesses as a student, which then will be very useful for you after you have graduated from University of Malaya. Next slide. All right. So the next one is how to find yourself as a student. Of course, when you enter UM, the main responsibility is to study, because you carry the role and the title as a student. But apart from that, you have to also find yourself in the sense that know the things that you believe in as an individual. So I include here a quote that I live by. I think this is by Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And because I live by this quote, I often find opportunities to participate and volunteer in related NGOs. And why I think volunteering is important for you, because it helps you to understand your social responsibility as a citizen. So when I went to Chiang Mai, we had a forum about social responsibility. And this is where the speakers mentioned that the youth, especially us, we have our own social responsibility. We have to contribute back to the society. And that is why I have been volunteering with a lot of NGOs that I will show you after this. So firstly, you have to understand your social responsibility. When you know that you are a part of the society, you have the responsibility to be in service of other people, then you need to find a cause that you believe in. For myself, the cause that I believe in is education inequality. I strongly believe that every Malaysian child should not be left behind, meaning that they should receive the same opportunities and exposure as their friends who are more fortunate. So that's why I have been participating or volunteering in programs that aim to bridge this gap. And thirdly, after you have found the cause that you believe in, you go and search the related NGOs. In Malaysia, we have more than, I think, 200 NGOs that often do programs and engage with the youth. So this is when you should widen your horizons and find these NGOs, try to be a part of them. You can start as volunteer first, and then you can gradually become the committee member. And then lastly, why I think we should be doing this is, again, because of your social responsibility as a citizen. And this is where you volunteer your time, skills, and knowledge. And based on my experience, I realized that these students who are underprivileged, they have a strong desire to learn. They know that they are lacking something, and they wish to learn more. However, because of the certain circumstances that are not in favor of them, such as financial issues, family issues, and whatnot, they are not able to be exposed to more opportunities as their friends in the urban areas. So that's why having you as a volunteer is very important, because you manage to tell them about these opportunities that they should also receive. Next. Okay, so these are some of the NGOs that I strongly recommend. The first one is the Kulsum Movement. I am a part of the Kulsum Movement. We have been in service for, I think, 27 years. Next year is going to be our 28th year. So what Kulsum does is that we conduct a series of programs for underprivileged Malaysian children by conducting camps and giving motivational talk and whatnot. We also provide them with learning modules and devices, especially now that learning is virtual. So some of our Malaysian children in rural areas do not have the device to participate in online learning. So that's what Kulsum does. And then secondly, we have Charisma Movement. Charisma Movement focuses on tackling global issue, namely wildlife conservation. So if you're more of a nature person, you like getting yourself immersed in protecting the nature, so you can volunteer with Charisma Movement and other related NGOs as well. Last one is Monsters Among Us, or MAU. MAU is a relatively new NGO, and they aim to raise awareness on children's sexual abuse by producing youth advocates. So if you engage with MAU, you will be participating in a series of events or programs, and then at the end of the program, you will be appointed as the youth advocate, and you will have your own responsibility as the youth advocate, meaning that you have to educate your community about children's sexual abuse. And by participating in MAU as well, you'll get to engage with the victims as well. So I think when I participated in one of the events, we got to talk to one of the victims. She was 10, and it was an eye-opening and self-enriching experience, I would tell you. So that's why I highly suggest to all of you to spare your time, knowledge and skills, and go and volunteer to these people who need you. Because you have all these resources, you have the knowledge, you have the time. You should just be, sharing all these privileges with those who need the same exposure and opportunities. Next up. I think that is all from me. So now I'm opening the floor to any questions from the fresh intakes. All right, I'm guessing there is no. Okay. All right, then thank you very much for lending me your ears. That's it from me. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.